Split is one of the maps I was convinced Fade wouldn't work on due to the same reasons that Sova isn't used. One of his most powerful tools, Recon Bolt, just doesn't have the same effectiveness as it does on maps like Haven and Ascent. This is mostly due to the tight and narrow lanes with easily accessible cover, the various inside areas, and Sova's inability to reveal a lot of locations an enemy could be playing simultaneously. Because of the way Haunt works, Fade can take advantage of the high ground areas more easily, and her Prowlers turn into more of a sky-like agent to gather more info along with the trails Haunt creates. After playing Fade on Split and seeing the pros also use her, my mind has changed a bit. So let's talk about why I believe that Fade can flourish on a map that her counterpart Sova does not. Did I mention lineups were included? Don't worry, we'll get there soon. I'm chill and let's get into it. Okay, let's start off with the juice and get into some high value Haunt lineups. We'll start over on defense. For this first one, before the round begins, position yourself in front of the third indent on the wall on rafters. You're going to look at this light on the large building in the background. When running forward, wait until the large A disappears behind the wall in front of you to time the release of your ball. It should land right on top of this metal structure, which reveals most of A lobby and is virtually impossible to avoid unless you're in spawn or sewers. For this alternative, move to the fourth indent on the wall. Aim in the middle of the line as shown here. Now jump throw for a haunt on the roof near A lobby. Unlike the previous haunt, this will not hit the deep corners in A lobby, but will hit A main. Moving over to B, we're going to get some early info on B lobby. Walk into the corner on rafters here. Now place your crosshair gently over this piece of metal sticking out. Do a quick run and jump throw which lands the haunt on the roof next to lobby, revealing anyone moving into garage. For a quick easy mid haunt, move into the back corner here and aim at the corner of the entrance to mail. Run throw your nightmare ball and you'll reveal all enemies in mid. Easy. You know what else is easy? Clicking on that like button. What, you think these lineups are free? Now that we got that out of the way, let's move on to attack. Start by jumping up on these boxes before the round starts. Position your crosshairs so it lines up with the edge of the box. In the background, aim at this corner that sticks out. Do a quick run and jump throw which lands at the edge of the wall, revealing most areas enemies will be positioned on A. It doesn't hit all of screens, but if they're close enough to the doorway, it should tag them. An alternative early haunt looks like this. Jump up on the first box and move into the corner against the wall. Look up at this light and throw. This haunt will reveal all of A main and some of rafters in heaven. It may even tag a player if they're standing behind the planter. It will not, however, tag someone who is peeking from top ramp, so be aware of that. When attacking B, head over to this corner and look up towards the orange line in the background building where it meets the roof. Run and jump throw and your haunt should land at the edge of the roof, revealing everything close right and boxes as well as backside, rafters, heaven, and hell. On attack, move into the corner in Weeb room. Aim slightly to the right of the 2 on the wall which lands on top of the boxes, revealing most of mid, mail, and ropes. Just be careful of being first in because a defender could sneak up while you're lining up your haunt. Moving on to some situational haunts, we'll start off with a retake. If heaven is smoked, which it typically will be, move into the smoke and throw down your haunt right outside of rafters. If you time it right, you should be able to reveal enemies moving into sight and get a pick or two through the smoke. It can be risky if the team throws util at the smoke, so this won't always work as smoothly as you think. When retaking B from heaven, position yourself against this line on the wall, and it doesn't really have to be that perfect. Now look into the background and find the window on the right. Run forward a little longer than usual and throw. This one should reveal most of sight and gets the back corner as well. For the alternative, you can head into alley and look towards the metal box. This one doesn't have to be perfect either, but try to line up the left edge of the box with the left edge of the wall. Aim towards the right corner and run throw which reveals most of sight close to you. Now for some post plants. Move over to the ticket sales area and move in line with the intercom thing on the wall. Look up towards the glass barrier on top of the building. You want to aim slightly above it in line with the middle tip of the A and the spike on the crown. This will hit A main, rafters, heaven, hell, and screens. For the B post plant, you're going to want to head into the back corner and move towards this line on the wall. Aim right in the middle of this circle shingle. Jump throw for a haunt that lands on the far side of pillar, revealing enemies moving out of spawn, rafters, heaven, and hell. Now for some Prowler examples you can use. When attacking A, move into the starting barrier and prepare your Prowler. Little pro tip with Prowler, click and hold left click right after equipping Prowler and it will send it out immediately. immediately. If you're doing this at the very beginning of the round, you won't need to check close left A main. Make sure to quickly look right with the Prowler in case a defender is pushing up. Move up ramp to blind the Heaven player. You can also send in the Prowler towards sight to reveal enemies playing in both Hell and on top of rafters. Prowlers actually lock onto enemies within line of sight to a fairly high degree, meaning they can fly through the air to get their target in some cases. Rafters is one of those, so this Prowler route is pretty solid. If you want to hit the spot behind Planter, you will have to get a little closer and go to the cubby across from spawn. Just make sure to check close left on your way over. On to Attack B examples. Head into garage right before peeking the entrance to site. Send a Prowler to check close right first, then look left to check boxes. Finally, head to default plant for the common defensive position. You can technically check 4 positions here, including behind the billboard, but if your checks aren't quick enough, the Prowler could fade before you could get there. I definitely intended the pun on that one. Mid is pretty straightforward, but the 4 spots you want to check are behind the box stack, metal box, mail, and ropes. It's not really possible to check all 4 of these. You either have to pick mail or ropes as the last checkpoint. When playing ramp on defense, if you move to the end of the wall, you can send the Prowler all the way to A lobby. Enemies will most likely peek before this, but if there's a lurker in this spot, you'll be able to get info on them. If you want to get closer, the alternative here is Hell. Over on B, you can move close to the garage entrance. The common spots you'll want to check are behind close box, pallets, and B lobby. If it's early round, obviously you'll really only need to send the Prowler towards lobby. You can check all spots, but it'll be close. When retaking B from alley, you'll want to first check close left corner, then head to default. Check default and then turn towards back sight. The Prowler will hit anyone if they are on the boxes in the corner. Just be aware of rafters because the Prowler won't target enemies at that elevation. Retake Heaven Prowlers can get a little bit interesting. Position yourself in cover towards the back of Heaven. The Prowler won't lock on coming from right to left if the enemy is close corner, so you can send out the Prowler to the far side of Hell first and then 180. If no one is there, then head to the double box stack. The alternative is to send a Prowler around the corner on rafters. It will target enemies all the way in corner rafters as soon as it turns the corner. If it doesn't, then immediately turn to the left towards default. If you hit this one right, the Prowler does something pretty nutty. Since the Prowler doesn't immediately drop like we do, it'll float down instead. The travel time of the Prowler will actually cause it to see the standing agent behind the box. When playing ropes, you want to check close left box stack, 180 to cubby, go back to sewers, and then finish at weeb room. Kind of hard to get all 4 again, so picking 3 of these spots is good info for your team anyway. On the other hand, from mail, you get a bit of a head start and can more easily check these positions and even get the far side of weeb room. There are actually a few really solid Seize lineups we can use on split. Seize is great for aggressive pushes or to combo with teammates' damage dealing abilities like Raze's nade. So it's almost better to think of Seize less like a molly and more like a concuss ability because of how you should play off of it. Use that lineup similar to the Haunt one and aim at the intersection of this blue line and the curved structure. Run to the edge of the box and jump throw. This Seize should land in a spot that reaches all 3 possible spots defenders may play. For this next one, head to the cubby in A lobby and line up the brown pillar with the umbrella in the back as a reference. Aim at the bottom left corner of the green square. Run until your crosshair touches the brown paneling below and jump throw. This Seize will land right at the top of ramp. If someone is playing close, you'll get the tether and you can decide to push quickly since they won't hear your footsteps or combo with a nade or molly. When attacking B, you can throw a Seize that lands near default. Stand towards the right behind the metal box. Line up your crosshair with the yellow line on the green sign. Run and release your throw when you're about to hit that box. This will hit most of the default area when pushing sight and also doubles as a post plant lineup. In mid, coming from sewers, position yourself at this gray panel. Move your crosshair over the middle indent on the box stack. Jump throw for a Seize that lands right in mail, preventing defenders from leaving. Heading over to defense, we have another Seize you can combo with a damage dealing ability to get an early pick or 2 if timed correctly. Start by moving into the back side of the opening to rafters. Look to the background and place your crosshair over this corner. Throw your Seize and it'll land right in front of the orb. In B Heaven, move into this corner by the plant. When you throw this, you're going to want to hold forward while you slide across the box like this. Now look at the center of the B and run throw for a Seize that hits both default plant spots. This could be good for a fast retake when you hear the attacker's plant. This post plant is fairly simple, but timing is everything and things can get a little bit bit dicey. That being said, proceed with caution here. Stand with your back to the wall and elbow and aim at the close double doors, the right one more specifically. This will tether anyone defusing spike or behind the billboard. When retaking A after plant, you can use your C's to trap enemies in hell. Well, not literally, but it'll probably feel like that to them. While standing with your back to the wall, aim at the corner where the blue line intersects the wall. Do a quick run throw and head to sight. The first attack Nightfall can be used here in Weeb Room, and it goes through B Heaven, Mail, and Rafters. This is a good one to throw if your team is pushing a B split through mid and garage. Next, if you're coming from mid to ropes, you can ult through A Heaven, which also covers Hell and Rafters. Attacking B can be a bit tricky because you'll need to decide if you want to cover most of sight or hit Heaven. Most of the time, there's usually no more than one enemy on site, so I think the Heaven one gets you more bang for your buck. You can also have your teammates move through mid and pinch the defenders in Heaven. This next Nightfall was actually used in VCT to pretty great effect. This one does involve a bit of coordination, but is a solid ult spot regardless. Move into the cubby here and position your ult so it covers all of Heaven. Your teammates can push through mid to Heaven while the rest of your team moves into sight. Finally, we have defensive Nightfalls. Starting off very aggressively, we can stand on top of Rafters before the round starts and angle the ult so it hits all of A main and lobby and even a bit of sewers. When retaking A, head over to the back corner of Heaven to throw your ult all over sight. Just be aware of any attackers pushing up through ramp. In ropes, you can be aggressive again here and hit all of mid and Weeb Room. On B, you can use this nice retake one while in the back of Heaven. Just make sure to angle it so it hits all of the back corner. And that's going to be it for this guide. Is there another map you would like to see a guide for Fade on? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like if you learned something new today, and speaking of learning new things, check out this Fade guide for Icebox next. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.